okay, 22 years. Did you get your license 22 years ago? Because I want to ask a question about that.
Yes, sir.
So licensed 22 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Your life prior to having your license versus after having your license.
Life prior to having my license, oh gosh, was carefree. You know, but no, and really, it was like anybody else, man. You still were trying to find yourself and everything else, and not really knowing what you want to do and whatnot. But I tell people all the time, while I necessarily didn't get into this industry on purpose, even though my father was in this business, it's been one of the best decisions that I ever could have made, Rob. You know, I have friends from college to this day that I tell them, I say, man, look, I haven't punched a time clock since 1998. You know, when my kids had events going on, I was there. You know, when this industry, with the positions that I've served by being on all these different boards and being chairmen of different things, man, I've traveled to so many different places. You know, I've met so many different people. So I think for me, the life before the license was just sort of leading up to this and building up to this moment, to be totally honest. I think it was just creating and building and molding me to really say, okay, you got the license, you got the education, to now, okay, this is your purpose.
Yeah.
You know, so, and the funny part is, as a 45-year-old insurance professional, if I'm just being honest, man, I think I really just figured that whole purpose thing out maybe like a few years ago.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now, okay, speaking of purpose, let me go here with it then. Your evolution, right, as a man, how has working in this industry impacted that?
Oh man. Wow. That's deep. Well, I think my evolution as a man and working in this industry has sort of gone hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I'll use this not to compare myself to him at all, but I only use this because, hey, he's one of the people that I really look up to, and God rest his soul, called the late great Kobe Bryant. You know, and I compare my journey in the insurance world similar to his journey in basketball and whatnot. That, to your point, when he first got in, it was the Mamba mentality. You know, I'm gonna eat you, destroy you. I heard a quote that he said, you know, my goal was to make sure that the guy guarding me regretted that he picked up a basketball. That was Kobe's mentality. But then you saw that evolution of, okay, well, hey, I shift from this to, okay, well, now it's about making sure other people are involved. And then he became the girl dad. And then after that, it was like, okay, well, hey, what other business interests is? Okay, I can do this. You know, I can do that and still have an impact in the game, you know, and still be a family man. And so I've sort of seen myself go to that same evolution, you know, the grinder. Okay, nope, gotta go, gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. And I tell people all the time, one of the biggest things for me, Rod, man, was COVID. Man, COVID really put a lot of things in perspective for me personally, you know, and really showed me that, okay, hey, one, you can do business a different way. You know, you can embrace technology and still have that personal feel to it. But then at the same time, it really allowed me to shift my focus. Okay, what's really more important? You know, is that new agency or that next new business or whatever the case, or is it really the legacy of your family that you're building? So for me right now, you know, the priorities are all the same on that list. They've just shifted now. And it's like, okay, well, hey, you know what? My faith, first and foremost, my family, okay, then the business and everything else. But if I put those two first, man, it'll drive me to be excellent in the insurance business, you know, because my faith drives my character. And that's one of the things you talk about being in the insurance business. One of the things I always wanted to make sure of, man, that I was just a good person. That, okay, you may or may not like me, that's fine. But one of the things I always want to make sure that my reputation in this industry is, oh, Quincy, well, that's a good dude. Yeah, I may not agree with this, or I don't like the tie that he wears, or man, I like the, you know, name of the business, but man, he good people. You know, I would trust sending my a referral there. I would do this. And so that's always been my thing. You know, I always wanted to make sure that I evolved and did that. So when you ask that question, man, that's a real deep question that I ultimately think that anybody that's getting into this business needs to really sit down and say, okay, what are you doing that for? So whether you work for a corporation or whether you're doing it on your own, you know, really the why are you doing it? You know, and to make sure you just stay true to yourself. You know, I think that's really key. Like, so if you're working in a big corporation, I know you have to do certain things to climb the corporate ladder and whatever the case may be, but man, stay true to yourself. You know, and even in my case, in the independent business, yeah, you got to go out there and grind. You got to do certain things, but man, just keep that why. Keep that why at your core.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I asked that question because what I've seen throughout, you know, my career, you know, in this space is with myself and with others, which is why I wanted to hear your take on it, is that there's so many opportunities for personal and professional development.
Yeah.
And they do run, like you said they run kind of intertwined. You know, it's an industry that really will test you, you know, test you and really let you see, you know, what you're really made of, you know, at the end of the day.
It's like that book or that movie, whatever you call it, it's the best of times and the worst of times.
Right.
You know,
right. Yeah.
You put the work into it, man, you can, what I like about this industry is you can see, in most cases, you can see the direct fruit of your labor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and whatnot. In most cases, I know there are some positions in the industry where that's not the case, but then also too, and I got to say this to you, especially sir, and other people like you, man, this industry can connect you with some people that can truly be inspirations and wins in your sale that can help you grow and blow, you know, and so I think that's really what I've loved about it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So at this point in your career, you know, you're really driving right now. You're really driving. What's the end goal? What's the end goal for Quincy Branch, your branch benefits consultant?
Wow, the end goal. I think ultimately the end goal is to build a conglomerate. And if I had to just put it out there, I would love to build a minority-owned insurance agency, whatever that looks like, that cracks that top 100.
Yeah.
You know, because to this date, sir, I don't think or know of any that maybe have been on that list that are minority-owned. You know, they may have minority stakes in them, but I don't think there's any that have been minority-owned that can tap into that space. Yeah. And so to be able to do that, because ultimately, once you do that, then I think it also ultimately just feeds down to all the other stuff that we talked about. You know, we can still go into our communities, do education, do that. We can still hire intentionally, you know, to make sure that we're bringing people into the organization. You know, we can still write and service and sell the type of policies that we know that our community benefits from. But I think more importantly, going back to that basketball analogy, because hey, I'm a basketball enthusiast. I want to go from being a key player to being in the owner's box.
No doubt.
You know, no doubt. And I want to be impactful and influential in my ownership.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So for me, sir, that's the end game. You know, and I think again, being 45, I think I still have a long runway ahead of me. I got a lot of energy, you know, for it, and that's what it's all about right now, man. I truly, when we say that statement, you know, let's go out there and change the world one insurance policy at a time. That's what it's all about right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. You got me pumped up. You got me ready. Okay. Whew. All right. So look, somebody who's looking at getting into this space. Just a couple more questions. So somebody's looking at getting into this space. You know, maybe they saw an ad or someone made a mention to them. They got a call for an interview, you know, with an agency or with the company, and maybe they're on the fence about it. What would you say to that person about entering this industry?
Do it.
Right.
just do it. First and foremost, just do it. Because to your point, I know you know this, and I love your podcast that talks about this. Because once you get your foot in the door, man, there's so many different avenues. Yeah. There's so many different outlets that you can get into once you get your foot in the door. And so, I think that's really the key. Mm-hmm. Make the first step. You know, whether it's an independent agency, whether it's in a corporation, whether it's a captive agency, whatever it may be, once you get in, you'll realize, oh, okay, I like sales. Oh, and I like service. Oh, and I like doing this underwriting. There's so many different facets that the insurance world touches that's the amazing piece. You could be somebody that just loves the music entertainment business, which, I know you may do. But at the same time, well, if you get the right education and the right licensing, you can develop a niche in the music industry.
Yeah.
You can write business so you can be doing what you love on the insurance side in the music insurance business. So it touches everything. But again, you have to make that first step. So I would tell anybody, man, make the step. Don't be afraid to make that first step. 'Cause I think that's the part. And you asked me a question earlier, but make that step in knowing what your end goal wants to be.
Yeah.
Or at least have some type of vision of where you want to go with this thing. Not, I just want to get in just to
start with the end in mind.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, man, look, I appreciate, this time, I appreciate the conversation. Like I said, man, I consider you a friend, a brother, one of the fellow baddest Black brokers, in the industry, per Ngazi and Najee.
Right. And again, that's we can add those initials behind our name as well.
Exactly. And obviously, man, we got a lot of work to do together.
Yes.
As well. For those who want to get in contact with you, really anywhere in the country, they want to be able to reach out, maybe pick your brain, maybe, they want to get into the business and like, hey, can I get down with Branch Benefits Consultants as an agent? How can somebody get in contact and reach out to you?
Well, and thank you for that, sir. I think all the social spaces, first and foremost, we're there, so you can look up on Branch Benefits on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok now, because my son created us a TikTok account. So, we're everywhere. We're all there. But even personally, I'm on all those platforms as well. LinkedIn is probably the best way to get a hold of me. On LinkedIn, Quincy Branch, or whatever the case may be. Or if not, man, call the office, 702-646-2082. Or and get a hold of me. And I'm thankful that you said that, because that's really, I want to make sure I avail myself, because podcasts like this, I don't call it podcast, man, conversations like this, these are the things I love to have. These are things I don't think that people see a lot of. So I do want to give you your shout out, sir, because I think your podcast is one of those that are real, and that one that gives people just that real, hey, this is the platform, this is the answers, this is what you want to do, and whatnot. So kudos to you as well. But yeah, man, if anybody wants to touch base with me, please call me. I would love to have conversations with anybody. Wonderful.
Hey, man, thank you once again. Just appreciate your time, energy, and Quincy, hey, he's opened the door to communication now. Yeah. The brother's busy, so just keep that in mind. But you can reach out. And man, I can't wait till we actually get some more time together too, man, and are able to get back together, continue working on what we're working on. And look, for those who are listening, please, check out Quincy Branch Benefits Consultant. And maybe you heard something in this conversation that was inspiring, that moved you, that made you maybe think to yourself, maybe you should get a license. So until the next time, take care. Thank you.